Today I learned. Today I learned
that a 13-year-old opened a hot dog stand in front of his home in Minnesota, causing a complaint to the health department. Instead of shutting him down, the inspectors helped him bring his stand up to code and paid the $87 fee for his permit out of their own pockets. Kids grossing $200 to $300 per day just on hot dog sales, not including chips and drinks. This kid is killing it. IRS.
Hello there.
Today I learned. Microsoft tried a 4-day workweek in Japan as part of a work-life choice challenge by shutting down offices every Friday. Productivity, measured by sales per employee, increased by almost 40% compared to the same period the previous year. Today I learned.
There was an early 1900s act named Sober Sue, whose draw was She Never Smiled. A theater offered $1,000 to anyone who could make her laugh, attracting big comedians. Crowds came out to watch them try and fail, giving them a free show. Later it came out that Sue suffered from facial paralysis.
Today I learned. In 1959, police were called to a segregated library in South Carolina when a 9-year-old black boy refused to leave. He later got a PhD in physics from MIT, and died in 1986, one of the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. The library that refused to lend him books is now named after him. Today I learned.
Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't allowed to dub his own role in Terminator in German, as his accent is considered very rural by German-Austrian standards, and it would be too ridiculous to have a death machine from the future come back in time and sound like a hillbilly.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Roughly translated to,
You've eat your last hoe.
I'll be back.
Roughly translated to,
I'll come back now. You hear?
You're terminated.
Roughly translated to,
We don't take kindly to your kind around here.
I need your clothes, your boats, and your motorcycle.
Roughly translated to,
Hey fella, mind if I borrow that shirt and your bike?
Get to the chopper.
Roughly translated to,
Saddle up, partner.
Today I learned.
A man created a fake restaurant on TripAdvisor and asked around for good reviews. Eventually, the fake restaurant was the #1 restaurant in London, and was being called up hundreds of times daily for bookings. For a day, the man set up a cafe in his backyard and served frozen food to rave reviews.
Today I learned. Many doctors have stopped calling cancer treatment a fight or battle. They argue these terms misrepresent how treatment works, and if treatments fail, the patient is left with guilt and a false belief they didn't fight hard enough. Chemo destroyed me, and I didn't like any of this rah-rah stuff at all. If it was a fight, I got my ass kicked. Fortunately, science has more or less cured my cancer before stage 4. I heard every battle and fight end, unbelievably, kick cancer in the nuts slogan. But the only actually comforting or encouraging thing I remember from anyone besides my wife came when I was shivering in the lobby waiting to see my doc. And an old guy in a walker in obvious pain put his hand on my shoulder and said, "It's tough, ain't it? That's harder to put on a t-shirt, though." Edit. I meant to add that obviously this works for a lot of people, so more power to them, but I don't think everyone needs to hear it all the time. Cancer outlaster here, leukemia-free 18 months. Duck cancer and duck this was my creed the entire time. My favorite nurses were the ones that were like, "Shit sucks, you want some water?" No one did the beat cancer or you're in a battle shit for me. From the get-go I was like, let's poison me and see who can stand being poisoned longer. All I did was exist for 5 months while getting my ass kicked. Am I stronger? No. Do I feel like I won? Nope. All I have now is more empathy for the sick, a heightened awareness for coughing people, and mosquitoes no longer view me as a food source. Glad to hear it, friend. The mosquito thing sounds interesting. How does that work? My blood is no longer appetizing to them and they ignore me now. Really nice when I go home to Georgia. Today I learned.
Military grade is just a marketing ploy. In the actual military grade means meeting the bare minimum requirements of durability, while also costing the least. Applies pretty much to any of these marketing words. Most actual, professional gear won't have pro in the name either, only consumer gear that wants to sound fancy does, etc. Don't forget, tactical. 50% markup. Tactical rules. Anyone who doesn't have a scope mounted on their knife just isn't serious.
Today I learned.
Hundreds of love letters between two gay World War II soldiers were found and are being made into a book. In one of them wrote, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if all our letters could be published in the future in a more enlightened time? Then all the world could see how in love we are."
Today I learned.
That everyone in Singapore above the age of 21 is automatically registered as an organ donor. Opting out from this act will result in you being put at the very bottom of the organ priority list, should you need an organ transplantation.